Oh, so I can't go live on Twitter because I don't have a premium account. That's fine. All right, but we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So welcome. This is Pretty Petty Politics, and we got a lot to talk about. So if you're on TikTok, but you got a computer nearby, I would rather you watch this on YouTube, to be honest, because I'm gonna be playing I'm gonna be playing a recording and I'm gonna be streaming. I'm sharing my screen. If you're on TikTok, I'm sharing my screen on the YouTube and on the Facebook for Pretty Petty Politics. So if you want to see the screen share, I advise you to go ahead and go to Pretty Petty Politics. But let's get into it. So yesterday evening, um, let me back up. Y'all know I've been talking about this redistricting here in Texas. I've been talking about this. Yes, I saw the Giovanni stuff. Yes, Liz, I did. But y'all know I've been talking about the redistricting in Texas, particularly in the Houston area where 3 districts are being targeted. I live in one of those 3 districts, the 18th congressional district. Our district does not have current representation in the House of Representatives because our member of Congress passed away March 5th. Okay. But I want to talk to you about something that happened last night. So there are nearly 30 people running for the 18th congressional district. That election will be in November. Then we will have a primary in March. Okay. So I know some of y'all know this, but there are people on here who don't, and I am an educator, so I'm gonna make sure people always know what's going on. I'm not gonna just give you a piece of it. I'm gonna give you as much of it as I can, and it's up to you to digest it however you may. All right. So yes, we're talking Texas politics. You got on here at the right time. So last night, one of those nearly 30 candidates who's running for the 18th congressional district attended a hearing, or yesterday attended a hearing. So let me go and explain the hearing. So because the Texas legislature is in a special session, our regular session ended in June. Our legislature only meets on odd years from January to June for a total of 140 days. And then the governor can call special sessions. So we're in a special session that began earlier this week on Monday, the 21st. Well, last week, because we knew the agenda for the special session, and redistricting is one of the things on the agenda, redistricting requires public hearings. And so there are 3 public hearings set to take place. The first one was yesterday in Austin at the State House. So, okay, State House in Austin. I was about to do my hands, but at the State House, and I believe it was in the appropriations room, but either way, in the State House. So when they convene, that is a hearing, and we refer to it as chambers. That's just the language that is used. So Isaiah Martin, a candidate for the 18th congressional district here in Texas, and some of y'all may have seen him on TikTok. He has a great TikTok presence. And so he signed up because any citizen, any resident of Texas can sign up to testify before the redistricting committee, this public hearing. You can be there in person, or you can testify via Zoom, right? You can also watch it like online. So on YouTube, it's available online. So if you're on my YouTube, I have my share screen up. I'm about to play it, but y'all know I got notes. I always have notes. I'm going to dissect each interruption, each second, because what has happened is Isaiah Martin signed up to testify. He and his brother Joshua both signed up to testify. Let me be clear on that. Isaiah testifies after a young guy, a guy, he might be his age. He seems a bit younger, right? And that's where I'm going to start the video. When you testify in these hearings, redistricting hearings, you have 2 minutes. That is understood from the giddy up. Not when you get there. That's not when you first find out. When you sign up, you have 2 minutes. But of course, as a candidate, we would think and know that he knew he had 2 minutes. So I will start with that. Next, I want to say this. He knew he had 2 minutes. He understood what, well, I hope he understood because he's running to represent me. So I hope he understood what that meant. Okay. I agree with you, Les. So he was there to testify. He signed up and he knew how much time he had. Jesse, I would love for you to join me once I go through the video. Okay. So Isaiah, when he began his testimony, it really wasn't about us. It wasn't about the 18. That is not what's going viral. Okay. At over 2 minutes, hold on again, because I have notes. At 2 minutes exactly, he makes this comment. He says, I see you guys' faces, but you all know it's true. He thought their faces was based on what he was saying. No, their faces were, dude, you at your time. But they let him keep cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing the video. And I'm going to stop it each time so we can talk about what's happening. Because that's not what went viral. We're going to talk about what went viral, though. Because I think what actually happened helps us with context and shows you why I'm not buying this to be seen, TUBI, to be seen, that he did last night. I'm not mad at the brother for, using the opportunity, his team using this opportunity for free press, right? I'm not mad at them for, they're going to raise some money off of it, but I am mad at them because you playing with our livelihood, those of us who live in the 18th. You playing when you had an opportunity to do something for us, right? To be the voice of the voiceless, those of us who couldn't be there. But instead you decided, you know what? Let me go viral. And I'm going to point out in one moment, and well, not one moment, but soon I'm going to point out to you what I mean by thinking this was planned. Yes, and I called it Tubi, Tubi. Yes, Tyler Perry wrote this scene for him. But people react out of emotion and they only see the viral part. And so anyway, let me start because I'll keep fussing. Y'all don't want me to do that. So hopefully you are watching on YouTube so you can hear it. Hopefully you can hear it through. Oh, you know what? I'm going to turn the volume off on YouTube. I'm going to rewind my television because that will be louder and it's easier to work the remote here. Okay. So y'all ready? Let me turn this TV up. I hope my neighbor don't be coming like, your TV's too loud. It's late. Okay. So I'm going to press play here. 4:25. I'm going to just get this screen where I need it. Okay. So YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, we all on the same time, 4:25:22. Let's go.
Thank you for your testimony.
That's the previous person. Chair calls Isaiah Martin.
I show you registered as Isaiah Martin, testifying on behalf of yourself on the revised congressional redistricting plan. Is that correct?
That's right.
Please give us your testimony.
Well, hello to the committee. I'm Isaiah Martin, and it's very apparent that no one seems to know why we're here. It just seems as if many are just sitting here going with the emotions. And it makes sense because the game is rigged. We already know this way the situation is going to be. Many of you that are Republicans.
Don't y'all judge my background. I can't figure that out. Y'all asking too much.
That's the name of the game to be a Republican nowadays. And you know very clearly that Trump told every single one of you that he needs 5 seats. That's what he said. So why do we play this game when we come here to an empty chamber in which all of you pretend as if you don't know what's going on when you already know what the situation is? But the real conversation that we should be having, that I want every single one of you to understand, is that there will be a retaliation for that. You've seen states like California say that they will gerrymander Republicans out of their states. You see the same thing in Maryland. The same thing is going to happen in New York. While you were in here, Governor Kathy Hochul said that she will be gerrymandering Republicans out of their seats.
We're just over 1 minute.
The same thing is going to happen in New Jersey. So for all of the work that you guys see, that you guys claim to be doing, when we should be talking about the fact that we live in a state that is unaffordable for people, our economy is wrecked, people cannot find good jobs, we literally have property taxes going up every single year, despite the fact that you Republicans have been in office for nearly 30 straight years. I mean, this is the game that we live in right here. And you choose, after we literally got after one of the worst mass casualty events in our state's history, to go and gerrymander people out of their seats. That's what you have chosen to do with your time, because you're scared of Donald Trump. You are scared and terrified because you're seeking an endorsement when you understand the truth. And the funny part about it is that you only know the truth. You can't react to it. I see you guys' faces. You can't react to it. But you all
right. You see that? What he said, I see you guys' face. You can't react to it. That's when he's at 2 minutes. That's literally when he's at 2 minutes. And what I think, y'all ever been to church? Any of y'all sing in a choir? So you can see the timer, but the congregation can't see the timer, right? Because your church is streaming live. But if you're on that stage, if you ever spoke from the stage at church, I'm just using this as an example, you know there's a clock. Well, a lot of times, having worked in government, I know a lot of times when you're in that horseshoe or on the dais, there's a timer that you all who are on the dais or in the horseshoe that you can see. So their facial reactions, not that I know 100%, but I'm no rocket scientist, but they probably were looking like, okay, dude, you at 2 minutes. It's time for you to land this plane. But he's taking it as if they are making faces or looking a certain way because of what he's saying. He still hasn't said much. If you heard something substantive, please let me know. But as a voter, a proud voter, I didn't hear anything. Okay. So substantive information. All right, let's get it back going.
Because Donald Trump runs this body. He runs your vote, he runs your vote, he runs your vote, he runs your vote, because you guys know that you cannot dare cross it. And ultimately, what we need in this state are people that have the cojones to actually go forward and call this stuff out. Because what you guys have done to this state is cataclysmically horrific. And I think that everybody across the nation should be able to go look at what you guys have done. So I look forward to Kathy Hochul getting rid of you guys as Republican friends. I look forward to Phil Murphy getting rid of your Republican friends. I look forward to Wes Moore doing the same thing. I think Andy Harris
Please finish your testimony.
Congressional career, he's about to be done too.
So when he says, please finish your testimony, that's at 4 hours, 28 minutes and 17 seconds. So at this point, Isaiah is 40 seconds over. Okay. So the chair did not have to offer him or let him keep going. Right. That testimony had nothing to do with redistricting. Exactly. You wasted your time for this viral moment. That's what this was all about. You cannot convince me otherwise. That's what this was all about. Yes, Dom, that is exactly right. This testimony has nothing to do with redistricting. But after he's 2 minutes and 40 seconds, so 40 seconds over, you hear the chair say, please finish your testimony. Most people hear that and they begin to wrap it up. Not Isaiah, not at all. And to the voters, to those of us who are in the 18th congressional district, got somebody they love that live in the 18th congressional district or somebody they know, he just told you why you don't need his vote. This wasting those 2 minutes, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is your chance. You took your viral moment, your opportunity to get a national headline, and you didn't use it for anything substantive or of value. Now, of course, what they see on the national platform is you being directed to leave and you refusing to leave, but it doesn't look like that from the optics of the recording that went viral. But when you watch the full video, right? When you watch the full video, you begin to see it come together. But we're gonna keep going because he keeps going, right? He keeps going. All right. Yep, Dominique. So those of you who are watching from Facebook or YouTube directly, I'm also streaming live to TikTok. And Dom says he could have shown people exactly what he would do if elected. Instead, he chose to waste it. Okay. And his brother been going live all day, making it like, oh, they got my brother locked up. And I'm not okay with his brother being locked up at all. I'm not. But I'm also not okay with this foolishness. I need you to have some emotional intelligence if you're trying to represent me. And clearly some more maturity. All right. So let's keep going, because I'm not even on page 2 yet of the notes. I'm still on page 1. So let me put the notebook down and get back to the video. And the YouTube is like 3 seconds behind, but I'm not going to worry about trying to fix that.
Them will be done. And you can thank your failed, senile, dilapidated Epstein partying with president for all the work that we're about to do to every single one of you.
Thank you for your
did
testimony.
this, you caused this, and this
The witnesses-
is the result of you.
So he says, thank you for your testimony. So he's trying to cut him off. Thank you for your testimony. And he's still going. All right. He's still going, even though they're like, your time is up, bruh. And then you'll hear a gavel in 1 second. Well, I might have passed it, but let's see if I can get the gavel sound. Something is going on with my YouTube. I don't want to subscribe. Hold on. This stuff pissed me off. Oh, gosh. There we go. Now let's get this back to 428. Sorry, guys. It's been storming outside. And I did not preset this because I lost power for a few seconds or a few minutes. But anyway, we're going to press play. YouTube. Oh, gosh. What is going on? There we go.
No, I'm not going to finish.
Witnesses' time has expired.
I'm not finished. Because ultimately, who doesn't have a say in this are the people of this state. The 40 million people that you guys just kicked
Witness will come to order.
The people of this state.
The witness is not recognized.
As a result of what you guys have done, this is a result of your policies. And you have no shame.
Okay.
You have no shame. None.
The witness.
Zero.
The
You
witness.
have no shame
Nope.
for what you've done. And I think that we all should be standing
No.
up here and
Just cut off his mic. Cut off his.
All right. So at this point, you see the sergeants, right, coming out. You see like the movement happening. And they tell him, just cut his mic. Like, you're disrespecting what has happened here. You're not having any regard for order. This is someone who wants to represent us. I don't know if y'all have ever participated in anything that requires Robert Rules of Order, but decorum is required, because I would have cussed out many people before in meetings, but decorum is required. Okay. You have to have some semblance of decency. All right. They weren't really running down the hall to get him, Jesse. It's like they were running down the hall to make a scene. His family, well, I won't say his family, but his brother. Yeah. You forget what happened outside the chambers, because we don't see that. Not yet. Let's just deal with why he should have been there, what he was supposed to be there for us, right? But it seems like this is about him, not about the people of the 18th, not these nearly 800,000 people who live in the 18th congressional district, or these millions of Texans whose congressional districts are about to probably be redistricted very, how can I put it? Very horribly. Okay. And I know I'm ranting, but y'all, I'm pissed. Like, I never thought of him as being someone to consider as a front runner in this race. I have met him once. I've asked him questions. I wasn't really pleased with the questions, but I didn't like think anything of it. Because I also offer him some advice, like make sure you're speaking on things that, are more substantive and more applicable to what the district needs are. But in this case, he wants it, but I don't think he really knows what he's asking for. And in running for Congress, I just need him to have it. I need him to have it together more, right? And utilizing these 2 minutes, right? He could have used them for us instead of for him. But let me stop ranting, y'all, because I get thrown off. All right. And I don't want to go for my time with y'all like he did. Okay. So we're going to press play. And this is the point where they're telling him to just cut his mic off. And then you're going to hear the word decorum. Okay.
Okay. That the gentleman will come to order. We will maintain decorum. The gentleman will be reminded one last time. The gentleman will come to order immediately. All right. The sergeants are directed to remove the gentleman from the room.
History will not remember you kindly for what you have done. They will not. Matter of fact, history might not remember you at all because of what you have done.
The gentleman will be removed.
Shame. You need to have shame. History will not remember you for what you have done. It is a shame.
Members and members of the public. Oh.
Let me rewind that a little bit.
What?
So this is when they're like taking him out of the courtroom, not the courtroom, out of the chambers. He's still, this is the point where when you watch the viral video and you see the guys come up to him and people are like, they're not even identified. They were identified, right? They were, and you just heard it. They were identified by the chair. They were actually ordered by the chair of this redistricting committee. All right. So I don't know if y'all remember taking government in school or civics, but there are committees and legislative bodies, and committees carry out certain tasks. Okay. So the chair runs the committee meeting. And so the chair is like, y'all, sergeant at arms, y'all got to remove him. Okay. Hey, Demi. So y'all got to remove him. So when he's making, you hear all of that talk back, that's when he's standing. If you've seen the viral video, that's where he's standing and they're like, come on, you got to leave. And he's putting his weight down, and you could see it way better from the Texas House Democrats video, which is on YouTube. That's what I'm playing this from. The name of it is First Texas House of Representatives Hearing on Congressional Redistricting. That is from July 24th. That's the name of the video on YouTube. Okay. But you can see him like refusing. You ever seen somebody and like a little kid, they in trouble and they trying to still be there. And you like, nah, come on. They putting all their weight down. That's what he was doing, like a little kid. And they're like, no, you've got to go. And they're like, yes, they are touching him and they are physically removing him because he has violated the rules, and you can be removed from chambers when you do that. Whether you like it or not, those are the rules. That's why you use the rules in your favor and utilize your time properly. But anyway, so once he's from out of that like speaker area, right about time to go down the aisle, you will see, and let me play it on YouTube. You will see a guy in a white polo. Once Isaiah is off camera, you will see a guy with a white polo on holding a cell phone, still filming, by the way, get up and like run after him, right? And then y'all know Isaiah trips over himself. You can see the video from the audience angle when he trips on himself. They didn't push him down or nothing like that. He literally tripped. And I'm not saying this to be ugly, but he literally did trip. So when his brother gets up, his brother's gonna have on a white polo and some khaki shorts, phone still in hand. Ain't no way in hell this shit, excuse me, this is happening to my sister or brother and I'm busy recording. No. I'll be like, dude, chill. Hey, I got him. Or I got her. And would have escorted him out to de-escalate the situation. But we're trying to get viral moments here. So you have the brother filming from the front of the room But the viral video is from the rear left side facing the dais. That's the viral video that we see. And then you see it turn when he trips and falls and they're getting him up. Now, correct me if I'm wrong for those of you who have watched this viral video, but when you watch that viral video and then you watch this, you can put 2 and 2 together. You can see just how in the wrong Isaiah was. Again, I don't think he should have went to jail, but I don't know what he did because the resisting arrest, I don't know what happened at that point to make it a resistive arrest, right? Because that is not on screen. So anyway, I'm trying to fix the TV with the mouse. Okay, let's see.
It is a shame.
Members and members of the public. Oh.
Jesse, can you join us on screen? Jesse says they were also sat in the seats directly behind the panel, all up in the camera. Yes, his brother was seated right on that front row, right behind the panel. So the panel is the table where people give testimony. So they seat them in groups of 3 to give their testimony, 3 or 4, right? But the table seats 4 people. And you can clearly see this. So, excuse me. So his brother was sitting right there. But there's one more thing I want to point out to you. Okay. And then we're going to wrap this up with Isaiah Martin in terms of the testimony. And then we're going to talk about that viral video. Another comment from TikTok. I just feel like this wasn't a time to cause a scene, be about the business and the people. But it was a time to make your Tubi so you can go viral and you can raise some more money and get some media attention in a race where you're lacking, right? He's about $800,000 behind. Maybe not 800,000. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. $700,000, a little over $700,000 behind the person who's in the lead with fundraising, right? He's about $700,000 behind. He has just shy of $200,000, but his name is not circulating here. This is the only way people in the district who hadn't heard of him, who haven't gone to any of the public meetings or hearings, or not hearings, public meetings, conversations with candidates, those people who don't go to that, this is how they're going to hear his name, because now he's in the local news. He's in news outside of Houston. He's on some media outlets like online are talking about it. NPR today. I was headed to a meeting this afternoon, a lunch meeting. NPR, our local station, was talking about it. And I'm going to talk about what was said on there. I loved what was said on there. But this, to me, this viral moment was manufactured to do exactly what it's going to do, to get not free attention, but to get a lot of attention at whatever cost, and to use it as a means of fundraising. You watch how they spend this. You watch how they spend it. And let me say this. Isaiah was arrested. He was in jail supposedly overnight. I don't know because there's no timestamp. But what I do know is that the district attorney in Travis County, where Austin is located, where this hearing was in Austin at the state capitol, the district attorney has refused to proceed with charges. So meaning there are no charges. The charges are dropped. Ain't no video about that though. Well, now there is. This one is. But that hasn't been the conversation. The conversation is, oh, they still have my brother locked up for this. And he was just standing on the First Amendment. And no, he wasn't just standing on the First Amendment. And he was not there representing the people of the 18th Congressional District. He was literally doing what he said he was doing when you sign up to give testimony at one of these hearings. He was there for himself, and he was speaking for himself clearly. Yeah. There's got to be a better strategy to fundraise. Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Yes, Jesse, that is the tea. That is the tea, honey. But let's keep going.
You should all be ashamed. America will.
He done fell and got up. He's still screaming.
Against you.
Tubi, Tubi.
Members of the public.
Tyler Perry couldn't have wrote a script like this.
As the chair has exhibited throughout this hearing, the purpose of today is to hear your testimony. When individuals fail to maintain order or decorum, it's disrespectful to the other individuals that are here, you. So we're going to maintain order. We're going to go back to our testimony. At this time,
watch this.
The chair calls Joshua Martin. Joshua Martin here. Chair calls Joshua Martin. Chair will show that Joshua Martin was registered to testify on behalf of himself on the revised congressional redistricting plan, but did not testify. Members, questions for the panel?
The very next person who was called to testify. Y'all caught who that was? That was his brother, Joshua Martin. White polo, khaki shorts. Mr. I'ma film everything. Y'all, the jokes write themselves. I'm so disappointed. Like, dude, like Gen Z, which he's a Gen Zer, right? He's like an older Gen Zer. He's 27. But Gen Z, we need Gen Z to begin to run for office and to begin cultivating their leadership and, you know, being meaningful and seeking leadership and developing into leaders and becoming candidates from local, county, state, and federal. Like, I have no problem with young people leading. I've been leading my whole life, so I get it. I just don't have a desire to run for office. So I appreciate the younger generation for the effort, but Gen Z, this is not the way. And Gen Alpha is not either. So to my niece and them younger folks, this is not the way to do it. Like, have some couth. Let me talk to you like Black folks talk to you. We say decorum sometimes, but we talk about couth. Have some couth about yourself. Have some personal respect for yourself, right? And if you're saying that you want to represent and serve people, then do it. But this not what that was. This was so self-centered. This was such a viral moment designed. And I know none of this content is going to go viral, but I speak the truth. That was an opportunity to do something different and to inspire. He probably got some people like, yeah, Rowdy, you know, tell him like it is. But he really didn't tell nothing. He didn't. And if you run into be the next person who's anti-President Trump in Congress, bro, we got enough of those. We don't need you for that. We need someone who is ready to go up there day one and fight for Congressional District 18 and other Texans and other citizens, residents, and people present in these United States of America. We don't need the rah, rah, rah. We need some revolutionary type of leadership. Revolution happens through strategy, substantive ideas, not this foolishness. Yeah. So Dominique says they could have planned a combination message and they did this instead. You're right. They had an opportunity. Like, did y'all consult anybody? And I don't know if he has any advisors, right? I don't know. I don't know if they're just winging it, and they're doing a good job if they're just winging it. But you're not doing a great job because you ain't thinking about thinking. You got to think about thinking, right? And don't wing it. Don't wing it for my representation. Please have a plan and let it be substantive, right? Jesse says that's my qualm about it, and they still didn't even listen to what he was saying because he wasn't saying anything. Did you listen to it? Because you're like, well, where's the message? Where's the message in this? It's so frustrating because my hope is to see Gen Z rise up. You know, that's exciting for me. I'm like waiting on it, like, come on, bring it on. And then we get this. And that's disappointing. That's disappointing. And you know, we're gonna do some case studies about this in class next week with my real students because I want to see how it resonates with his actual generation. You know, I want to see how it resonates with them. I don't think it will. I think they're going to see it for what it is because now they're not just going to be looking at the viral moment. They're going to look at the whole picture, right? And that's just like when something happens to someone, um, to citizens or private individuals, and they are something happens to them, and we only see the results, the violent results, right? And some of us are like, no, we want to see it all, show it all to us, show it all to us. This is why we have to see it all. We have to see the whole wraparound because the story has multiple parts, right? We need to see the whole picture. And so that's the same thing here. I want to see the whole picture, not just that they took him out, because even when you're watching the viral moment, you can see him like, no, in that suit and those socks. Maybe he has on footies, but I need him to put some socks on. I'm sorry. Excuse me, that wasn't kind, but I do need him to put some socks on. Jesse said, and Jesse was there. So those of you who are watching from other platforms, Jesse was actually present. She said she listened, and they were never listening. Suit and no socks. Yeah. Yeah, suit and no socks. All right. So we're going to play a little bit more and then I'm going to really rant. I keep doing this. I keep moving the mouse thinking I'm moving the TV.
Here, now the panel's excused.
So now I'm excusing everybody from that table I described.
I do want to take a moment just to reiterate, you know, there's a trend sometimes in this nation when we have these types of discussions to disrupt. Our nation works best when we hear each other, regardless of what the topic may be. Okay, and so it's important that we maintain decorum, and the chair will continue to do so. The chair calls Caitlin Cash.
All right. So now they have gone on to the next person to testify, and the video continues. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm back, just total on my Facebook and YouTube. So here's the thing. Other people are running for this office. The young lady who is, and I'm not saying first or second place because I haven't really seen any polling. I'm just talking about fundraising. But if I had to say who the front runners are, the front runners are, in specific order, I would say Christian Menifee has the assumed lead, followed very closely by Amanda Edwards, and who's behind her would be Jelonda Jones. And Jelonda Jones hasn't raised nearly as much money, mostly because she's also a state representative, and she did not enter this race until like June 5th. She entered this race once the legislative session was over. But if you remember, earlier in the spring, I talked about what would shake this race up would be Jelonda Jones getting in the race because she has the proven electability to garner large amounts of votes because she used to be a Houston City Council at-large member. So when you run for at-large, anyone who lives in the city can vote for you versus when you run for a specific district. So just think of at-large like your U.S. senators. Every state has 2 U.S. senators. And so everyone in the state can vote for those senators. So the same way, you can only vote for a city council member whose district you live in. But if they're an at-large, anyone in the city can vote for them. So Jelonda Jones, she won a at-large seat. Amanda Edwards did too, right? So they both have that electability. Christian Menifee is the Harris County attorney, not district attorney. So he doesn't prosecute, but he defends the city and not the city, he defends the county and sues organizations, businesses, and people on behalf of the citizens of Harris County. So those top three, they've been elected before. Jolanda Jones is probably late 50s, maybe early 60s, but she's a young, older person, if that makes sense. So she's like the oldest person in this. No, she's not. It's somebody older than her. But she has the seniority in terms of leadership and having been elected. Christian was elected in 2020, re-elected last year. And then you have Amanda Edwards, who has served as Houston City Councilwoman, and she's ran in a couple of other races. So, but she has been running for, this is her third time running for this particular seat. Isaiah Martin, at 27, he doesn't have a lot of experience besides his career. You will hear him talk about how he worked for Sheila Jackson Lee, our beloved and now deceased congresswoman who passed away a year ago last Saturday, July of 2024. She passed away. You'll hear him say that a lot, but a lot of people have worked for Sheila Jackson Lee in various capacities. So I'm not saying that's not saying much, but I don't think he worked for her in a formal like payroll as an employee of Congress type of capacity. I'm just saying, and I think it's fair to say it. But besides that, you really don't hear him speak on experience. And I know you have to have an opportunity to get experience, but there are also other things that you can do to garner experience that's worthy of talking about. I'm just saying. So this is not to beat up Isaiah Martin. What this is about us, the viewers, the voters, the listeners, the people who make things go viral because we're sharing it and we're not stopping to be like, what is that about? Like, we're not putting on our hats to really consciously evaluate things all the time. And I get it because I'm guilty of it too. But this hit home for me. So I was like, let me lean into this a little bit more. But I hate that he was arrested. I do. I don't never like to hear that somebody arrested. You know, no, I'm never okay with that. But what I did find interesting, I only saw his brother talking about him being arrested and him still being locked up and all of that. And I posed this question. I'm going to pose it to you all online. Have any of you all considered, who've seen that video about him still being locked up? Have any of y'all considered, like, I do too, Jesse. I love Rain. She's amazing. Rain Ebony. Have any of y'all considered why you did not hear from an attorney speaking on behalf of Isaiah Martin? Anybody ever thought about that? Because that hit me quick. I'm like, why his brother speaking? Like, I know that's his campaign manager. I think that's his campaign manager. This is his younger brother. But I was like, this is a legal matter at this point. Where is his attorney? Or did we not hire an attorney on purpose because now we can milk it even more? This is how my brain works. And it's probably because, never mind. This is how my brain works. I'm evaluating everything. Like, where's the attorney? But he wouldn't even have to look far for an attorney because you're in Austin. All those lawmakers there. Many of them from your hometown, from Houston. You didn't have an attorney? Nobody to go down there and ask for your release? I know earlier today it had a $0 bond. No bond? Does that mean no bond was set, or does it mean like you don't have to put nothing up? Was he really in jail all day long, or are we really trying to milk this situation and figure it out? Have we got us a team now that's going to spin this for us? You got to ask these questions. And if I see some spin, I'm going to be on your head. And the reason being is we got redistricting going on. Like, I was really wondering, like, are they going to try to act like he was locked up all weekend and he was kept away from the hearings in Houston? And he better not come to Houston with that foolishness tomorrow. Because see, we're not gonna have that in Houston tomorrow. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna act like we got some sense, and we're gonna say what we need to say. We already know what they're gonna do, but for the record, we need to say what we need to say. The record should not show all that grandstanding that we saw from yesterday, or that y'all just heard, right? But like, where's the attorney? It's not like they don't have the funds to get an attorney. It's not like an attorney would not have just done that off the strength of this a young man running for office. Come on now. Let's what I said earlier, let's think about thinking now. Where was the attorney? So as I mentioned, yep, you saw the video where the brother said he was still being held. And people are sharing it because it's sensational, right? But it's not substantive. And if we're going to be sensational, then he's acting like the very person he was talking about when he was testifying. Okay. Jesse, front runners are not determined by the money per se, because you can have a strong grassroots campaign and defeat an incumbent who will typically have more money. But I will say the front runners in this race who happen to have more money, Jelanda Jones is number 4, and no, she's number 5 in fundraising. And I still put her number 3 in electability in this race. When I say electability, meaning when the numbers are tallied on November 4th or November 5th, that Wednesday morning, she'll probably be 2 or 3, because 1, she's a household name, right? All 3 of them are. They are really, truly household names: Christian, Amanda, and Jelanda. I also think that their careers and their experience will propel them to the front. Although we do have a younger attorney running for office, and Zoe Kador, I don't see her as a front runner. Now, she's done well fundraising because she's a lobbyist, so it makes sense that she would have decent fundraising, but I don't see her as a leader. And I'm rarely wrong in these things. I've been doing this for a while. She does not have the substance. Y'all can look at her TikTok. No shade, but I mean, like, let's look at it. Let's look at what the platforms are. Let's watch the videos. Let's attend the meetings and listen to what they're saying when they're in person and questions are being asked. What is the substance? Are you actually answering the question of your future constituents, or are you just making the points that you want to make? I'm just saying. All right. So why is the money important? The money is important because that's how you can make more appearances. You have a team that is out there working. I don't believe in, if you can pay people to go out there and knock doors, let's pay them. It's hot. This is Houston. Asking people to do stuff for free, no. Pay me. And don't be like, well, we'll have pizza and sodas afterwards. I am not 12. Like, pay people. But no, you also get signage. It also helps you with like if you need to run TV ads, social media campaigns, those text messages we get all the time, that costs money. Like, it's not like one person is just texting you. That is like a mass text. Those emails, all those things cost. Do you think the younger candidates are seeing Crockett's viral moment and trying to do the same? Yes and no. The difference is Jasmine actually be talking about stuff and she knows what she be talking about. I haven't heard anything that resonates. But again, I'm gonna do a case study with my students because this is Texas. This is Houston Metro, so it's applicable to our course. Plus, I'm teaching Texas government this summer. And I'll let y'all know how that case study goes. And I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to show them the viral video, and then I'm going to show them the hearing. And I'm going to ask them what they think, right? I'm going to keep my bias, my opinions, and all of that out of it. And the reason being is I really want to see how this resonates with Gen Z. Almost like they're misunderstanding the nature of the work and trying to get elected with vitality. Yeah, that's it. It's like, if I'm viral, that means something, right? No, it doesn't, because the people liking and sharing, they don't live here. Hell, half of them probably don't even live in Texas. If I were to dig into the FEC contributions, I would be able to see where the contributions come from. Like they're categorized, how what amount comes in under $200. That's your more of your grassroots giving, and then it's like categorize the amounts of the giving, and then the total and the amount of money on hand. But you can also see the contributions themselves, the amounts of the contributions. I bet a lot of those are not from the 18th, Houston, Harris County, Texas. I bet you a lot of them are not from here, right? A lot, especially because Isaiah typically is online at night for hours every night on TikTok. And that gets him money. Like he's not out getting money the traditional way. And I'm not mad at him at all for it. I actually love that he is using social media to get his name out there. I just hate that he did yesterday. Like I hate that yesterday happened. I love that he is running for office. Like truly, I want to see more Gen Z get active, but we have to know what we're doing when we get active. And because of that, this is the second time God just like tapped me on my shoulder. Dominique, I'm gonna text you. Because of that, I want to help young people and old or middle, like however old you are. I want to help people prepare, right? And learn like best practices, because we won't get anywhere if we're just doing antics, if we're just living for our 15 minutes of fame, our viral moment. Okay. Yes, he was arrested for resisting arrest outside of the chambers. That I don't have video of that. If there's video of that, y'all can send it to me. Y'all can send it to me, DM it to me. If there's video footage of the actual arrest, I haven't seen it. Okay. But he was arrested for he was arrested for something. I don't know what it was. I don't know after well, let me put it this way. I don't know what it was, but I imagine he was arrested after he continued with the antics when they had already told him he had to leave the chambers. When they told him his time was up. Like, I wrote it down. So his time expired at 4 hours. So he started at 25. I'm gonna just use the minutes. So we're in the 4-hour mark of the hearing. And he started at 25 minutes and 37 seconds. All right. At 28 and 37 seconds. So 3 minutes in, time has expired. That was stated to him. Witness will come to order was stated to him as a directive from the chair. That was at 46. At 49, witness is not recognized. And then at 4:29:08, because they're still trying to get him to hush, and he's still talking and not saying nothing, but he's still talking. The chair directs the sergeant at arms, just cut his mic off. Just cut off his mic is what he said. And then at 18, the chair says the gentleman will come to order. We will maintain decorum. So at 4:29, so 29 minutes, 4 hours, 29 minutes, and 18 seconds, we will maintain decorum. Again, this was just supposed to be 2-minute testimony. And we 5 minutes in, and all of this happens. That's why I say stuff can go from 0 to 100 real quick. All right. But let's talk about decorum, because I mentioned that earlier. So I told you I was listening to NPR on my way to a lunch meeting earlier. And I'm always listening to NPR. Make sure you support your local NPR station. You can give as little as $5 a month, which will give you access to both their online as well as a PBS account, so that you can like watch PBS stuff that is no longer on air. But or that's just for those who have membership. So give today to your local NPR station. As you can give as little as $5. And if they have a campaign going on, give when they have a campaign going on, because a lot of times they have matching. Okay, so shout out to NPR. I love NPR. I've been listening to it my whole life. Love it. It's more to NPR than just Tiny Desk. And we do love the Tiny Desk concerts. But baby, the news be newsing, okay, on NPR. So today, Ernie Manous, who is one of the hosts on my local NPR station here in Houston, KUHF, he said he was talking to Doris, and Doris was talking about what had happened with Isaiah. And Ernie said, I haven't seen it. I can't really say much. He was like, but what I know, and I'm paraphrasing, but what I know about these type of hearings, there's an expectation of decorum. This is somebody who ain't even watched it, who hadn't seen the viral video, who hadn't watched the hearing. He just spoke on decorum because that's an expectation. We are handling business. Can you have some decency, some couth, some decorum, right? And it just hit me so heavy when Ernie said that, because I was like, because that's all it was. He lacked the decorum. And so the video that we see that's viral, it doesn't show when Isaiah is sitting down and just talking out the side of his neck. It shows when he's standing up and he's already been told repeatedly that he doesn't have the floor, that he's not recognized, that his time is up. Like they had been through this. Like he at that point was like 2.5 minutes over his allotted 2-minute time of testimony, right? And it was very clear. It's very clear when you watch the hearing that he was intentional about what he was doing. It's very clear. Or maybe he was just emotional and got in his own way, because all of us are guilty of having done that in our lives more than once. And many of us will do it again. We get in our own way. He really got in his own way. And that's why I talk about emotional maturity. See, when you're going to represent somebody, you have to have emotional maturity. When you're a leader, you got to swallow a lot. You got to swallow a lot of pride, a lot of cuss words, a lot of I wish up. Like you got to swallow that. Or these, you got to swallow that. Or who, you got to swallow that, because there's a certain level of decorum. And because people want you to get outside of you. They want you to misstep. So now it's on you. We're not the bad guy. I'm not the villain in the story. You are, because now you sidetrack. And he did it to himself, though. Nobody did this to Isaiah. Isaiah did it to himself, like all day long, with what happened yesterday. That was on him. Deflect, distract, deny. Exactly. Jesse, what was, is Menifee from the 18th? Yes, he lives in the 18th congressional district. Jesse, when this occurred, since you witnessed it in person, both the testimony and the what do you call it? The scene, the TUBI scene, what was the reaction to the, is that why when we watch the viral video, everybody in the audience is just like not really moved by what just happened? Is that why? Because it seems like when you watch the viral video of Isaiah being escorted out and him like not really going with them, like, no, I'm not going, and then he tripped over his own feet. Like, what was the audience like? What was going on in the chambers? Because when you watch the viral video, having not seen the actual testimony, it's bothersome, because you're like, dang, the audience don't even seem to be reacting like they should be reacting. Jesse says everybody was kind of stunned, like, whoa, what the hell? Nobody helped him either. So his brother didn't help him. His brother didn't. Maybe he helped him later, but his brother didn't help him. His brother was holding on to that phone, trying to film every second of it. And that was disgusting to me when I watched that. Because at first I was watching it on my phone. I was like, oh, I'm at home. I can put it on the TV. And so when I saw that, I had to pause, like, I know that ain't Joshua. You got to be kidding me. Like, he's filming it instead of, being his brother's keeper. Like, I got this. Okay, y'all, I got it. Bro, come on. Let's just go. All right. Jesse says some folks thought he was full of. I think he was full of it. Yeah, I think that's why you really don't see the audience. They're just like, I know he didn't just do all of this, and he's doing it as he's leaving, and he's still refusing to be quiet. He's not respecting the chambers, especially when we all seen him in the front row. Yeah, so there you go. Eyewitness, present there, saw it all happen, right? Yeah, the brother should have diffused the situation, but he was like this. And then I think when he failed, that's when you see, because you can hear the room gasp when he trips over himself. And I'm not good at this, but if somebody wants to show me how, I probably could figure it out, how to show the viral video so you can watch both angles simultaneously. That would be great. Because otherwise, here's the thing about viral moments. They give a perspective, right? But now that we've gone through the hearing, we've seen the fullness thereof, right? The full perspective of things, just like the people in the room. They saw the full thing. And I think that probably played a role in their reaction because they just saw him act a donkey, for lack of better terminology. They saw him act a donkey. But that still does not mean he should have been locked up. I think the reason why he probably was arrested is because he refused to leave the chambers, which was causing a public disruption, interrupting a hearing. Right? She says, add the viral video as an overlay. It will be a smaller box, but it works. Okay. Thank you, Dominique. And I'm going to get with you. But yeah, I think that is what led to the arrest, because he continuously refused. You could hear him even outside the chambers, like raising hell, still trying to disrupt. It's not going to work. And it didn't work. So then he's arrested. I don't know why they didn't go get him out of jail. Like, if I'm running for Congress, let me lean in somewhere. If I'm running for Congress, I have met somebody along the way that has a semblance of power that I should be able to tell my brother, mother, cousin, uncle, bestie, hey, call this person. They can get me out of jail immediately if I'm running for Congress. But hell, if I'm running down the street, I got somebody I can call, and I'm not running for office, because leaders build networks. Now, maybe y'all are like, well, Jay, you older, so of course you would have that. But here's the thing. I had it when I was younger too, because I understood community. I understood interacting with people. I understood what it meant to sit at people's feet and learn to earn my own way. That's how you earn your way. You sit at the feet of others and you learn. You serve others and you learn. And people will invest in you based on what they see you investing in others. That's what service does for you. So you build a community, you build a network. People who you don't even know you will be supporting you. And then one day they'll come up and they'll tell you. There's a sister a couple of weeks ago. I was at a dinner, and I speak to people. I spoke, and she's like, "Oh, I know you. You do the class online, the civics class on YouTube." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, I said, "I feel bad because I need to do it more." And she's like, "No, it's great." And like that sister made my day. And I gave her a hug. I thanked her, but you never know who's watching you when you are doing what you're supposed to do. Because I don't do this for nothing else but the information needs to be shared or to serve, right? I'm sharing to serve because I know there's a need. And I'm not always right because I'm not perfect, but my heart is always in the right place. So when you do the right thing for the right reasons, what you will build that network. And I'm just looking like he's running for office. He don't have nobody that could have made a call where it didn't even go there. Like, they just hold him in the vehicle. Like, how does he get out of DPS custody to Travis County Jail? Like, why? Like, does his family not know our state senators here? Because he's either in the 18th or the 15th Senate district. So either Molly or Senator Miles, either Senator Cooks or Senator Miles is his state senator. He couldn't make a phone call to one of their offices, or somebody couldn't do that on his behalf. Are those introductions and relationships not there? That's what I'm talking about, preparation and network, like being ready for the job, right? You got to be ready before you run. Any of y'all ever ran a marathon? I've ran a marathon, right? I ran a half. If y'all watched my TikTok from earlier, you saw me proudly peel off that 13.1 off that car before I gave them keys to Mercedes and said, you know, thank you. I'll take my check now. I sold my car today. But I took that 13.1 off of it because I've ran a marathon. I'm proud of that, right? When you run a marathon, when you're in that race, you don't begin running when you get in that race. You're already training for that race. You have to have some preparation, right? You got to have some preparation. And I don't think that Isaiah had any preparation. I don't think that he thinks enough of the establishment to build those relationships, because there's no one in hell. I would have went to jail, and I talk a lot of shit. I do. There's no way I would have went to jail. I might have been held, detained, but they would not have taken me to jail. Like, somebody would have made a phone call on my behalf, because this is happening at the state house. And we have people in the state house, both elected. Hell, his state representative, Jolanda, who's a co-candidate. I'm sure Jolanda would have looked out for him, even though they running against each other, right? I don't understand how this brother sat in jail. I don't. I just think that they wanted him to be in jail because it gives them a story. It gives them a line, and it gives them a headline for at least until at least probably 3 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. No, he ran for Congress before. He ran for the 18th when Sheila was running for mayor. Erica, exactly. He don't know nobody. You got to have relationships. There's no way in hell you running for this office and you don't have some of these folks' numbers or their staff numbers that can be like, hey, can you look out? Like, come on. But you work for the Congresswoman. See, this is how I know you ain't work for the Congresswoman. This right here is how I know he did not work for the Congresswoman. Somebody asked him back in June. I was at this breakfast over at Gatlin's, and Tamani, shout out to Tamani. Tamani has these meetings on Thursday mornings, and he's been doing the candidates, but he kept talking about working for the Congresswoman. And when I say the Congresswoman, I'm talking about Sheila Jackson Lee, not Erica Lee Carter. And they asked him, they said, oh, I about fell out of that chair when they said it, because it was so funny, but it was so poignant. Well, you work for the Congresswoman. Is her family endorsing you or supporting you? Bruh, I about lost it. Because no, they're not. Her daughter, who's also a former Congresswoman, is the chair of Christian Menifee's campaign. Like, the rollout had Erica's name on it. Like, relationships are important. You can throw my name around all day long. You throw my name around in the right room, like, oh, she can vouch for me. Best believe I done got a phone call or a text about it, because relationships matter. You gotta build relationships. You gotta build community. You've got to, as a leader, you've got to build community. You've got to build community. So I'm gonna end this, not TikTok. I'm gonna end this YouTube and Facebook. Good night, y'all.